A password disappears into a login box, unreadable on screen. But somewhere else, the exact keystrokes may already have been captured. Welcome to Wandt Quick Take, an AI-narrated educational video series exploring important topics in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and technology. Each episode draws from source materials connected to Professor Adam Scott Wandt of John Jay College of Criminal Justice, including lectures, notes, research, recordings, and earlier works. The series is designed for public education and provides a cinematic overview of those materials. This episode was assembled using artificial intelligence. The final narration and presentation may not always fully reflect Professor Wandt's precise views, wording, or intent. We rely on password masking and encrypted connections to protect our data, but these defenses only activate after a computer processes the input. If the path between your fingers and the processor is compromised, encryption is irrelevant. Keylogging is a technical category encompassing diverse capture mechanisms. MITRE ATTK and CISA classify these as input capture and credential access, techniques adversaries use to harvest legitimate login information directly from the source of entry. This vulnerability exists because input capture records physical human action before system-level encryption or network defenses have the opportunity to secure the data. Think of the input pipeline as a series of handoffs. Every credential or message begins as a physical touch, generating an electrical signal at the bottom of the stack. Hardware keyloggers intercept this signal before the operating system is even aware a key was pressed. These devices can be embedded in cables or placed between a keyboard and a computer. The Department of Justice prosecuted a former public utility employee who purchased physical keyloggers with intent to intercept credentials and internal communications at his workplace. Moving up the stack, firmware and driver-level loggers embed themselves in the system's low-level input architecture. They are difficult to detect because they operate outside the view of standard security software. At the operating system layer, software keyloggers utilize user space APIs to record keystrokes, active window titles, and clipboard activity as the computer processes these events. In mobile environments, where keyboards are entirely software-based, malicious applications often abuse accessibility features or use screen overlays to harvest text entered into other apps. Mechanisms operating at these lower layers of the technical stack bypass the security controls and monitoring tools that run at the user level. The final layer of the pipeline is the application and browser. Here, form-grabbing tools and malicious extensions capture data just as a user clicks submit, taking the information before it reaches the intended server. This capture path bypasses common security features. Password masking dots hide characters from someone looking at your screen, but they offer no defense against a logger recording the input events themselves. Antivirus software often fails to identify physical hardware devices or authorized enterprise monitoring tools that are configured to look like legitimate system processes. While multi-factor authentication reduces the value of a stolen password, it does not stop a keylogger from recording private messages, search terms, or other sensitive information entered throughout a session. Traditional perimeters like network firewalls and storage encryption are ineffective here because they do not protect the human-to-machine interface. Interpreting a keystroke log is complex. A sequence of characters shows what was typed on a machine, but it does not automatically establish the identity or the intent of the person at the keyboard. The legality of these logs depends on authorization. This distinguishes criminal spyware from workplace monitoring or investigative tools deployed under a search warrant. In the case of United States versus Scarfo, the FBI used a keylogger system to capture a passphrase and access an encrypted file. The litigation raised questions about how investigators handle digital evidence, specifically regarding the minimization of irrelevant data and the chain of custody for captured keystrokes. The evidentiary weight of a log is defined by the authorization behind the capture and whether the collection process altered the device. Security begins at the point of input. Passwords, legal drafts, and investigative notes are fully exposed at the moment they are typed on a compromised machine. True protection requires treating the endpoint device as an extension of the information itself. This necessitates physical security, controlled mobile permissions, and phishing-resistant authentication. Like, follow, and subscribe for more deep dives into emerging technology, digital investigations, and the ideas shaping our future. And remember, stay curious, and want knowledge.